What do you think happens to most of the leads marketing sends to sales? Over 79% of MQLs are never even touched by sales. You are the marketer sending those SQLs wondering why your work disappears into the void. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact 5 reasons sales ignores your SQL even when they look perfect on the dashboard. You'll also learn the one thing you can do this week to double lead to opportunity rate. I'm also going to talk about a framework that will fix sales and marketing handoffs permanently, and real world hacks that actually work in fast growing or even stagnant tech and SaaS organizations. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. What do you think happens to most of the leads marketing sends to sales? And here is a stat that might actually sting you. Over 79% of MQLs are never even touched by sales. Yep, not called, not emailed, not followed up. And if you're watching this, chances are you are the marketer sending those SQLs wondering why your work disappears into the void. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact 5 reasons sales ignores your SQL even when they look perfect on the dashboard. You'll also learn the one thing you can do this week to double lead to opportunity rate. I'm also going to talk about a framework that will fix sales and marketing handoffs permanently, and real world hacks that actually work in fast growing or even stagnant tech and SaaS organization. So stick around because once you see it, you will actually be able to build a campaign like never before. And I want to start this off with a story, right? A while ago, I kind of worked with a B2B SaaS company that had just wrapped up a massive campaign, paid campaign, right? We had about 120 MQLs and that turned into about 62 SQL. And then what? Zero follow-up. You guessed it right. The SDR team claims that the leads were junk. Marketing was, of course, livid, right? We had spent about 20,000 in 2 months on paid campaigns and all. So what went wrong? Right? So let me tell you, both sides were partially right. I always say the truth is somewhere in between. But the real issue is nobody was playing the buyer's game, right? So what really happens? Let's kind of take a look at why this happens, right? Why there is a disconnect between what sales says and what marketing experiences, or what marketing says and sales experiences. And I'm going to hit you with a hard truth, right? The reason sales isn't following up isn't because they are lazy. It isn't, right? It's because you are sending them something they can't work with. And let me show you why, right? Using 3 cold truths about most SQL. The number one truth about SQL is that it's a soft qualified lead. Your scoring model based on downloads, right? And it's not based on decision. They filled a form, but do they even know what the problem they are solving? So I would really encourage you to ask yourself this question. Would you call this lead if your commission depended on it? Right? That kind of changes the way you look at leads. The second truth is that sales runs on urgency, not activity. You are optimizing as marketers, you are optimizing for conversion. And what are they doing? Sales is optimizing for close. You care if the prospect is engaged. They care if the prospect needs to act this quarter, this month, right now. If there is no fire, they're not making the call, right? And I want to talk about the third truth, and this is probably the last truth here on this list. There is no narrative in the handoff. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Sales gets a name. They are lucky if they get a score. Maybe not like, attended webinar or wanted to know about the company or wanted to see a demo. But what was the pain point, right? What stage are they at? Awareness, consideration, decision, though they are not linear. But without understanding their pain point, what stage they are at, the SDR opens cold. The buyers feel disconnected. And your hard-won lead goes dark. So I want to encourage you to flip this. Look at it from a different perspective. What if sales is not ignoring the SQL, but your entire SQL model is ignoring the modern buyer? Now, let me talk to you a little. Let me give you a couple of statistics. Right, 70% of the buyers complete the journey before talking to a rep. We all know that. Right, 80% of the buyers want to be treated like a partner and not a lead. That means when you score someone based on a form fill, but didn't build urgency, context, or trust, you handed sales a cold stranger, right? And take your last 10 SQLs. Would you bet your Q4 bonus on them closing? And this is a question that even my boss asked me very recently, right? That can you look at the MQLs or SQLs generated by you in this month, this quarter, and tell me if you qualify for your variable pay or your bonus on them closing? If that isn't happening, then you need to work on your SQL model, right? It's not aligned to the modern buyer, right? And then I want to talk to you. I want to give you a kind of a story, right? One of those highest performing plays that I have seen from a SaaS startup, and their marketing wasn't just handing off the leads; they were handing off momentum. And here is how, right? Every qualified lead came with a 60-second loom, right? Here is what they read. Here is why they are high intent. Here is how to open the conversation. Now, in these scenarios, sales reps didn't have to start cold. They stepped in as a trusted guide, continuing the journey that they might have started offline or online. Doesn't matter whether they started the journey at an event or a webinar or an outbound call, but the sales stepped in as a trusted guide and then they continued the journey, right? So the result is that you see 4 to 5 times increase in the reply rates. You see significant increase in opportunities from marketing leads. So this is not new tools. It's just better storytelling, right? And I want to talk to you about a framework, right? And here is the framework that is built with the sales team, right? And you can call this the 4C fix because it turns cold leads or cold SQLs into warm conversation. And then this C stands for context. The first C stands for context. What triggered them? Right? Track, summarize the buyer journey, content read, source, keyword used. If it was an outbound call, what excited the prospect, what are the challenges that he's trying to solve, what pain point does he have currently. So all of that, right? And the second C is clarity. Why now? And why us? Map out the pain and urgency and include some use case hints. The third C is commitment. How ready are they? Are they project readiness, timelines, budget potential? And I know it's building on the band, right? Budget, authority, need, and timeline. But can you add the C into it, the commitment, right? Beyond band, right? And then the last C is continuity. How do we keep the momentum? Can you use short videos, lead notes? Of course, there are a lot of tools that even summarize these meeting notes and all. If you're doing all four, then you're not handing off leads, you're handing off conversation. Right? I would want to talk about quick wins that you can deploy this week. Right? The hack number 1 is intent score overlay. Replace SQL with a 1 to 3 intent scale. This kind of helps your reps to prioritize who is actually worth the first one, right? And then you can use tools to kind of create meetings and summary notes and all of that, and then add them into your CRM if you are not doing it already, right? The hack 3 is using a narrative handoff, right? Which is basically the what did they read, what did they watch, what excited them, what are they dealing with, right? Easy, repeatable and scalable kind of a template that allows the sales to quickly get a sense of what are they looking for. So if you ever said that I don't know why sales isn't calling my lead, it's time to flip that question. Ask instead, would I follow up on this lead if my job depended on it? If the answer isn't a hell yes, you have got work to do. And this isn't about lead versus pipeline. It's about conversations versus cold call. So if you liked and if you found this helpful, like, subscribe and comment. And I would like to see you on the other side. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.